Hi everyone, this is Charu Hariharan here. I'm really happy to be inviting you all again to the percussion discussion, and we have an amazing guest today, which is Lina Anderberg. I hope you are able to hear and that everything is clear. So my name is Charu Hariharan, and I'm a percussion endorsee with Gappu Cajon, and I've been associating with Gappu for over 2 years now and have been performing with them. Gappu has amazing percussions, a range of percussions, and have been innovating new percussion instruments over time. You can go check out their website, Gappu Cajon, and today we have a very special guest. But before going into the details about our guest, I'll brief you a little more about Gappu. So it's very hard to find good percussion makers in India, especially the ones that deal with wooden percussions and with world percussions. So Gappu is a very pioneering company that makes amazing cajons. It started with cajons, and then now it has shakers, foot tambourines, octosnares, brushes, hot rods, so many instruments, bongos. You can just go check the website out and you will find the wonderful range of cajons that they have. And it's an amazing feeling to be teamed up with with a company that is focused on making a great brand out of India and also a great sound. It's not easy to find that sort of a sound. I use the cajon along with my mridangam, and I've been also having my own hybrid kit, and it's been working great and working wonderfully well for me. So, and again, these percussion discussions have been happening for a very long time, and so many wonderful percussionists endorsed with Gappu have been conducting it, like Kwab Di Haria, like Sambit Chatterjee, who is like the brand ambassador, and so many other people. And we have had amazing percussionists, drummers joining the show. So you can go check this out on YouTube. The entire video is available. Also, the podcasts are available on Spotify and Apple Music. So please check them out. And you can go listen to the previous podcasts and the previous interviews. So now, before I invite upon the guest who is just there with us in the chat box, I could see here, Lina is an amazing drummer, and I also noticed that she is from Sweden, a place that I've been visiting for a very, very long time, since 2010. So my relationship with Sweden has been around 11, 12 years now. And she's an amazing, amazing drummer who has had a great journey, starting from where she is and with whom all she has performed and played. And it's an honor, absolute honor, to have her endorsing one of the best brands in the world, Wickworth, or other companies that she's been endorsing recently. I would like to discuss more about that before even quoting what she's working with and her new projects and how has been her musical journey. I'd love to invite Lina onto this discussion. I'm equally excited as much as you are.
Hi.
Hi, Lina. So
Can,
happy to have you here.
thanks for being here. Can you hear me okay?
Absolutely, it's perfect.
Okay, good, good. I'm so
Yeah.
your presentation was so nice. Like I was like, oh my gosh, he's talking about me and I'm watching.
I just know very less about you, but I also saw that we have mutual friends on Instagram, and all of them are very good friends of mine. Felicia is an extremely close friend of mine. We have performed together with Vadin's band. Liliana yeah, Liliana. I
We
know her.
played together earlier this year.
Oh, really? Nice,
Yeah,
nice. Interesting. Yeah. And Axel, I visited his studios, and an amazing percussionist he is.
he
So
is.
I have an entire family in Sweden. I think we'll connect a lot more regarding where you're from and how you've been taking up this journey. Maybe we have a lot of people that we mutually know
And
also.
next time you come to Sweden, you also know me. So you
Yes,
have a
yes,
tour, you
yeah.
have to go like through a lot of friends here in Sweden, say hi.
Looking forward to that. You were born in Sweden. Were you born in, I heard you were not born in a city. I just read a couple of articles about you. And can you explain more about, where you were born, how you got into music and drumming? Meanwhile, you sounded excellent. I'm so happy to be doing this with you.
Thank you. I'm born in a small place in Sweden. It's like outside of the second biggest capital called
Mm-hmm.
Gothenburg.
Yeah.
And it's only surrounded by woods and animals.
Wow.
And I just grew up there. I was into horse riding. I had my own horse, and I was completely like, my mindset was like, I'm gonna be the best professional horse rider in Sweden. So the music thing is super random. I just tried, I think I was 12 or 13. I tried out
Okay.
the drums once in school.
Mm-hmm.
And so I felt some kind of connection. I think I want to say like you don't pick the instrument picks you.
Absolutely.
Because I tried the guitar, I tried the bass, but I was like, what is this? This is pointless. But when with the drums, it was something different. Maybe it's because you can be physical and I have
Yeah.
a lot of emotions. I don't know. I can hit something. Um, and I have no musical background at all. Like I barely knew what drums were or like music. It was only horses for me. I didn't even know I could
Wow.
like keep a rhythm or a pulse. I don't know what happened, but
Amazing. So from the age of 12, you've been pursuing drums, but is it just on your own pursuit? Have you been listening to a lot of artists and learning to drum yourself? Because in Indian tradition, we usually go to people to start with any instrument. But instruments like guitar or drums are usually learned by ears. You develop the sense of rhythm, the playing by yourself, and maybe you just go to master at some point just to build upon your skills or maybe some styles. How did that happen to you?
so what happened was I actually didn't pick up the drumming at that time because it was I didn't know anyone who played drums or music because the village I was from, it was super small. Like people didn't play music. So
Ah,
I was just like, I wanted to have friends. I wanted to fit in a group. So I didn't really pick up the drums until a couple of years later when I joined a band together with some guys and we played like metal. I started out
oh,
playing metal, like death metal.
oh, wow.
So I didn't take lessons at that time. I just played double bass drum and smashed cymbals and I couldn't play anything else.
Okay.
And then a few years later, I was 18 when I decided I wanted to become a drummer. So then I applied for like a music school and I went over there to study and then so started kind of late, but I was like very determined at that time when I
Wow.
was 18. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this for real and I'm gonna start now.
Wow.
So so
It's never too
it
late,
took
right?
me some
Yeah.
years and I'm like I've been some part of me has been like regretting I didn't start earlier. I would be so good if I started when I was 12. Yeah, but you can't think like that. Like it's the
Yeah.
past. Like at least I started at some point.
Yeah.
But some people ask me like, "Hey, I'm 17. Is it too late to start?" I'm like, "No, really not. Start when you're
Interesting.
50 or 60 or 80. It doesn't matter."
Ah, absolutely. So you went to like a music school after your gymnasium, maybe.
Oh, it's gymnasium. I'm impressed.
Jag pratar svenska.
Ah, du är
Ja, mycket,
jättegrym.
ja.
Very good.
Tack så mycket. Ja.
Eh, Tack. Yeah, so the thing in Sweden called folkhögskola.
Yes.
It's kind of a folkish school, so it's not the university. It's not
Mhm.
like that high-end school. But so I went to study jazz, and then you move into kind of a boarding school. So you live at the school and just doing music. So I did that for 2 years, but two different schools. So I
Oh,
first
okay.
went studied jazz in one school, and then I moved to another school to continue study, and then I went to a third school, but that
Oh,
that was in Stockholm. So that made me move to Stockholm.
wow. Okay. Like a pretty, like a hub of music and a lot of art and activities of that sort. I mean,
Yes,
Gothenburg is also the same, but still, Stockholm is like, yeah, a lot of wonderful clubs and places to play at.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. So, but I also realized if I wanna work to be a drummer, I have to be in Stockholm because every artist is living here. So,
Mm, yeah,
so I
true.
ended up here.
Great. Which school did you attend, if I may know, just out of
Oh,
curiosity?
in Stockholm, it's called RML.
Okay, okay.
It's like it's kind of like you learn how to pursue your career as a musician, basically. You learn how to handle different genres and stuff. And
Okay.
pretty much every working musician around here has been to that school. Like,
Is it KMH? Is that the one? No,
no,
it's
no, no.
different.
The that's the royal
Yeah.
like school. I
Kungsliga.
it's yeah, yeah. It's not that
Yeah.
cool.
Okay, okay.
That
No, I don't
actually,
know about what's cool and what's not, but that's the only institute I've heard of. So,
yeah, yeah. But actually, I was never interested to study because the thing with it's you committed to at least 3 years. Three,
yeah.
I did this 3 years, 3 years. That's the scary part. I never wanted to apply because I was like, I cannot be in the same spot for at least 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, and yeah.
Wow. So just as you started off with metal or heavy metal rather, what styles drove you literally later in your life? Because you play on multiple genres and multiple styles. I've seen a couple of your performances in SVT. Some of the covers that you do don't belong to like a rock genre or a heavy metal. It is everywhere. You know, you pick up interesting tracks and you play over them. So is there anything that you're particularly interested in, or what draws you to playing certain styles?
No, actually, I like to play music that when I listen to the music, if I feel something, I like it. It doesn't matter what genre. And I think why it's so wide, like it's a country song or it's an old fusion song no one barely knows about except for very like I don't know, fusion people, but actually I don't have a good answer for that. I just want to play what I think sounds good. And I think also because I started out study jazz. I went from metal to
Yeah.
starting to study jazz. I couldn't read charts. I couldn't play a jazz beat. I was chaos. My teacher told me to unplug my ears because I played too loud. And I didn't have any kind of like knowledge about jazz or jazz standards. I remember they put a chart in front of me with like Beautiful Love or something, and I was like, I have no idea what this is and what am I supposed to do with it. It was like on that level. But so I think I just got into jazz. I also picked that because jazz is like the most difficult genre you can play. So that was I was like tactic. I was like I'm gonna pick the hardest to study. But then I realized I don't want to be a jazz drummer. But I think I kind
Mm,
of took the jazz thing into the more pop, rock, more Afro-American music. Uh, and then I just been taking the knowledge further. Like I apply, so if I play a fusion song, I can remember some of the old jazz things because it's like more. But if I play a pop song only four on the floor, I have to remove all of the
yeah.
jazz things, or don't play a hit extra. It's just four hits basically. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I just think I also remember when I studied jazz, I had a teacher who said I have to pick. He asked me, "What kind of drummer do you want to be?" And
Mm,
I was like, it was after the time I realized I didn't want to be a jazz drummer. So I said, actually, I don't know. I just want to be able to do all the gigs. And he was like, you're not going to be able to do that. You have to pick a genre because you're not going to be good at all the genres. So maybe
yeah.
that was he planted something inside of me that was like, "Are you sure?" I was like, I want to be able to do everything, but I just honestly think I love to express myself in different ways, and maybe I should focus more on one thing. Maybe I would like become better at one thing, but I don't know. It feels boring to just keep to one thing.
Uh, resonates pretty well because I think it's also liberating to not focus on one thing because of the knowledge that you're gaining from the multiple styles. When you
Mm,
think that, oh, is this the way I should play, then something else comes and it makes you understand like there is another way to play the same
mm.
thing. So I think I can relate a lot to you because I also love exploring genres, and it makes you feel more alive and not just stuck to a particular space.
Yes.
But being a part of all these styles, what is your kit like? Do you work around your kit on such a space? Do you remodel your kit depending upon the kind of gigs that you go for, or is it more like, okay, my kit is this and I'm going to play everything in this? Because
That's a really good question. Like for now, I only have one drum set.
okay.
Usually before I like moved to United States and then moved back, I at least had two drum sets. It's not like that different. I think I have my own sound, and
Mm-hmm.
then I just apply that sound to the music, I think. Like of course if I play a pop gig, I add triggers, I do the
Yeah.
hybrid thing, like to get it to sound as it should. But
Yeah.
if I play like a more, I don't know, funk thing or a rock thing, I think I just adjust my playing, but the kit is the same. Maybe I
Mm-hmm.
switch out a cymbal or so, I switch the
Yeah.
hi-hat. But other than that, I just think I try to change my mindset to what I'm
Mm-hmm.
playing and not so much what I'm playing on. But that I would love to be able to do. I only have one snare. It's not even mine.
Okay.
I'm borrowing it. So it's like
Okay.
I don't have a lot of stuff. So I'm just trying to deal with that. I don't have a lot of stuff and trying to see that the gear should not matter. But of course, it would
Wow.
be very handy if I had two or three different sets, five snares. That would really help, so to speak.
Yeah.
But if you don't have it, you still have to work around it.
Wow.
So
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, we musicians have just one mridangam, just one instrument, and we work around with it. But certain times, yeah, it's interesting how you see working around with just a single set and trying to see different sounds from the same setup. It's a yeah, it's amazing. And who were your early influences when you started off with drumming? Did you listen to any particular band as such, or as a particular drummer that inspires you on a daily basis? Or
yeah, so my first actual like role model inspiration, I have to say was Annika Niles.
okay,
And I discovered her when I was 19 and just moved to that school I was talking about to study jazz. And I saw her on YouTube, and
wow,
she really influenced me to believe that I could play drums because I didn't really have any female role models at that time
wow,
or inspirations, and I never felt inspiration watching. I don't want to like I love these drummers, but when I watch Jeff Porcaro, I don't feel much because I'm not him and I can't identify myself with him. So it's like I didn't really have drummers I was influenced in that kind of way until I saw her. But now when social media is happening, I get inspired by so many drummers in my feed. I watch them
yeah,
daily. So, but the early influences, it was like Annika Niles, Chris Coleman. Um, I loved Mark Guliana. Um,
okay.
and now I can't think of the drummers. I, but I'm like, what drummers do I like? But now I get more inspired by drummers in the more modern sound. Um, on Instagram, the Instagram drummers.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely true that it opens a huge door to listening to different people just in the same
Yeah,
feed. You just swipe up and you have amazing talents back to back.
but
Yeah.
lately I've been like for a couple of years back, I've been really inspired by Brian Fraser Moore. because I think he's the drummer for like Justin Timberlake, Alicia Keys,
Okay.
Madonna,
Okay.
and his playing is just so good. I can't explain it. You have to, if you don't know who he is, like you guys,
No, I haven't checked him out.
You have to YouTube him. His mindset and how he thinks about drumming and how he plays is just mind blown. He's
Wow.
just one of the greatest drummers ever and very humble.
Wow. Okay. I haven't checked him yet. So it's helping me to discover new people, as you say, their
Yeah.
names. Yeah. Thank you.
So,
So, and you've been to the US, right? I think you studied in the Musicians Institute, Music
yeah,
Institute. I don't, yeah.
I moved to United States in September 2019, right before we all know what happened in March.
Yeah.
But so basically, I was just living there during COVID, and then in December last year, it was like I had to drop out of school, and then if I drop out of school, I have to move. You know, the visa situation is kind of
Yeah.
strict, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like basically the same day I had to leave the country. So
Oh,
so if not the whole, you know, COVID thing would happen, I hope I would still be there, but you know, there is always a way back. But I was
yeah.
studying at Musicians Institute at that time, but you know, it was everything went online. Yeah, so
Hmm.
it was not the same.
Yeah. That was in LA, right?
Yeah, in Hollywood.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Have you seen there's a wonderful artist who has joined us?
Who?
Uh, Greg Ellis? No, I think he was here looking at us. Greg Ellis is a
Oh,
drummer who is from LA. He who works for Hollywood, has played in the most amazing movies and is an excellent percussionist. He has worked for Matrix, Terminator, and so many other movies. He's a
oh
great
my God,
drummer.
that's so cool.
Yeah, so I hope he's watching the show as well. Greg is a good friend as well.
You
So
have a lot of
yeah,
friends everywhere.
I mean, a
What's
few.
your
I'm
favorite
coming to.
country?
I would have to say Sweden is like my second home. It's always been, yeah, the warmest. I mean, the coldest in terms of geography, but the warmest in terms of people that I've met, and I have like sort of an extended family in Sweden, if I have to say so. So yeah,
Yeah.
I, and that brings me to the next question about the circle and the family of drumming that you have found out. I think both of us have faced the same issue as we were looking up for women inspirations in percussion or drumming. It's very hard to find people. Have you faced that sort of a difficulty as you were growing as a percussionist, just as you said, to find inspirations? And I would like add the question with how is it being a woman drummer? I don't want to tag it like a woman drummer, but I just wanted to see how it affects others who are trying to get you a job or include you into projects, into workplace, and things like that. I mean, a drummer is a drummer. I don't want to have the tags, but it's about how people see you.
Mm? Yeah, yeah. So now with female drummers, I think there is a lot more. At least we can see a lot more female drummers now, which is a very good thing. Um, and also like now I find inspiration from a lot of female drummers. I also want to say drummers, but when we're talking about female drummers, like there is so many good drummers out there now
Yeah.
that I really get inspired by, and I'm like watching they play, and it's so amazing. I get like, oh my God, I want to go and practice. You know, I'd be like, my girls, I want to be like you. So it's very inspiring, and the whole female drummer thing, I think that is going to be a thing for like a couple of years further in the future, but as we go, it's gonna be more and more drummers is drummers. I That's my point. Like that's how I feel, and that's what I'm working towards, to be a drummer and be
Yeah.
called a drummer. And we don't say male drummers, so we shouldn't
No,
say female drummers. But
exactly.
we haven't been around in that exposure for the same amount of time, so we just have to adjust with that, you know, to kind of follow the development. I don't know how to explain it, but
Articulated. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But also to be a female drummer, it's tough. I don't want to think as it as if it would be special, because I feel also like how you approach it, that's how you feel about it.
Yeah.
If I approach myself as a drummer equal to other drummers, that's what I'm becoming. If I approach myself as a female drummer, not as everyone else, that's gonna be the situation. But there
Yeah.
is times where you can't avoid the fact that you being categorized as a female drummer.
Yeah.
Uh, but also, I don't know. It's a very tough question to just have a good answer. I think like as a female drummer, all the female drummers know exactly what I think, but I want to like explain it in a good way so all the non-female drummers can learn and realize like we
Yeah.
always have to be I think we have to impress people more because we're just assumed to suck or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have to I remember my first lesson at Musicians Institute. Just for an example, it was male teachers, it was 10 male drummers in a row, and then it was my time to go up and play in front of everyone, didn't know their names, and I just saw everyone was thinking she's not gonna, she's gonna fail. I don't know if that was my feeling, and that's not a good thing, but I was feeling it in the energy, in the air, like they were expecting me not to pull it off. And also because I feel like that I take the energy, like I absorb it, and that's not a good thing either.
Mm-hmm.
But so I think
So
now
it's
I'm like,
both a factor of how we deal with and how they deal with. It's absolutely on both the sides as well, right? Is that
yeah,
what you
so
mean to
it's
say?
also
Yeah.
my fault that I think that they are thinking that way, but maybe they didn't think about that at all. But that I will
Yeah.
never know. but but yeah, it's a never-ending discussion. But yeah, I feel like we have to show ourselves, like be worth, I don't know how to like be worth our, I don't know, positions, our
Mm-hmm.
jobs.
Yeah.
um we have to prove more. That's my feeling, because we have a lot of pressure, I
Yeah.
think. And also the thing I've noticed is that some people are like, you just using your looks for getting fans, like you're just using your looks, can you even play drums? I think that's the biggest issue, that people have a problem with
Yeah.
drummers looking good and drummers playing good. It's like, okay, so you
Well,
can't do both. I know a lot of hot male drummers, like I'm not like DMing them and ask, are you just handsome or can you actually play drums? I don't know if any female ever did that. If someone ever DM'd a musician, a hot male musician, and asked, are you actually just hot or can you play as well? Like that never happened.
I really love that perspective. I'll bear this in mind
Yeah.
because it's true. It's absolutely true. In one
Maybe
way,
we
you're also
should do
expected
that.
to, yeah. In one way, you're also expected to look good. But on the other hand, if you look too good or if you're really presenting yourself well, then it itself becomes a, place of questioning. So, yeah, it's a lot of things to match up to. But again, this is another interesting discussion I had with one of my friends, and I saw her interview as well, where she said we always try to match up with men, and there's also a factor in our mentality or when men look at that way, like, she's not playing like a man, or she plays like a man, always putting that tag up, you play like you are. And that also brings me to the next question. As you interpret your playing, how do you see that a woman can interpret something differently compared to how a man can? In the sense, is there a difference that you see when you play drums? Is there another way of expression, another way of articulation, another way of improvisation that you feel that you don't connect with when you see male inspirations, but when you see a female inspiration, you feel like, oh, this is something that I relate to?
I think it's just about that is the fact you find inspiration in what you look at. Like for me, I just know like identify it's a female drummer, but I don't listen if it sounds different to a male. Like that thing for me is the same. It doesn't matter.
Okay,
Like
great.
that in that case, the gender doesn't matter because I don't listening to any difference. I think it's
Okay.
just like the brain is very stupid sometimes. It connects with what it sees in a good and a bad way. So just because I see the same gender, because I identify myself as a female, so when I see a female, my brain says I can do it too.
Yeah.
But if it sounds exactly as a male drummer, but I look at the male drummer and I'm like, I'm a female. I can't do that because the brain is like a dinosaur. Like it's stupid sometimes. You have to tell it. You have to like raise like I don't know. You
Yeah.
can like your brain really messes you up sometimes. So I just think it's about what I see in front of me and that okay, she plays drums and I can play drums. I just think it's
Yeah.
about what I see. So
That already someone has come to that place, and that's reachable, or that's possible for you. It probably can also show that, right? To actually see a woman there, it makes you
yeah,
realize that you too can do it.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. So I think that's been the thing for me. And like playing wise, like my inspiration is I love a lot of male drummers. Like
yeah.
for me, like now the gender doesn't matter, but I can feel a connection when I see a female or non-male. I don't want to just talk about two genders because there is
Yeah.
more than two genders. I don't want to
Absolutely.
be exclusive, but yeah, I just think it's about that.
Wow. Lovely. Um, uh, any recent projects that you've been really looking forward to, or you've been working a lot with? Share about your projects that you're working currently, and what sort of projects are they? What kind of collaborations they are?
So now, ever since the restrictions were lifted in early October,
Yeah.
I've been working a lot. Thankfully, I'm very, very thankful, but I've been working a lot. So basically, my job is to get hired for artists just for gigs. It's maybe
Okay.
1 gigs, 2 gigs, 3 gigs. So I've just been rehearsing and playing with different artists, different kind of gigs. So
Oh.
I haven't really have time for my own projects, and it's gonna continue being like that the rest of November. I just came like now before the live. I just came from a rehearsal actually, so I was like almost late.
Oh. Oh.
That's
Okay.
why. So I'm like super sweaty and whatever. So so now I just came from a rehearsal, and the rest of the day I'm gonna just be in the studio preparing for gigs and rehearsal for next week. So
Oh.
I think I have a couple of artists right now that I'm playing with. Um, and I don't have any own projects at the moment. I just work for everyone else. But that's what I like. I like to just okay, it can be tough sometimes when you have to learn like 4 new sets in like one day, but when it's a
Yeah.
lot of new songs at the same time.
Yeah.
But I like when it's different things happening all the
Yeah.
time. You can never like relax. But that's also challenging because all the artists have different preferences, and even if I play mostly pop music, it's a bit different. Like some artists want a lot of hybrid sounds, a lot of samples, and I have to sample like 200 sounds, but some pop artists prefer acoustic drums. So it's
Yeah.
also actually depending on what the artist wants and their sound, and then I have to like adjust my work to what would fit the artist. So it's
Yeah.
fun that I can actually do different things, even if it's the same kind of genre, and
Yeah.
play with different people.
Wow.
But
Interesting. Yeah. And about okay, so it's mostly with pop, right?
yeah,
Okay.
but
Nice.
I want to like start a funk project. I want to play like funk or neo soul, funk fusion stuff. I've been like really thinking about that lately. But so if someone is Sweden watching this and wanna start play funk, you just call me.
I think there are a lot of them from Sweden. I could just see, Swedish names at least, maybe from other parts of the world, but still. Interesting. Um, and are you? How was your experience being in LA in the Musicians Institute? Were you able to attend a lot of classes directly? Uh, what was it different from learning here and from learning there? Did you? Is Sorry,
No, no. So,
I thought I was interrupting you. Yeah.
oh no, 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 no. I'm just thinking about. I don't want to say too much because I don't know. I don't want to. So okay, I have to start with one thing. I can't tell a fair picture of Musicians Institute because I didn't get the on-campus experience. So the things
Okay.
I'm talking about is only because it was COVID, it
Yeah.
was online classes, I was not allowed on campus, and the way the school handled that situation was bad. So
Okay.
that was why I dropped out. So
Okay. Okay.
So I don't want to like go too much further into that because I actually don't know what I'm allowed to talk about. But
Yeah.
so I don't want to get myself into trouble. But I can say like my goal was not to go to Musicians Institute. It was more to like hopefully pursue something in the future in the United States. Like I wanted to, you know, start working or like start playing with artists there, or I've always been wanna move over there, and then so I think if COVID was not a thing, hopefully I would still be over there, but I can tell that for sure, but there's always a way back. So I never experienced LA or anything because we were just in lockdown the entire time, so I have no
Oh,
fun
okay.
stories. like like
Okay.
it was just very bad timing, but I don't regret it at all. Like I found a studio and I practiced there and just did what I could about the situation and never actually felt happier.
Wow.
That's a crazy thing. I was very happy and
Wow.
everyone else was depressed. But yeah, I don't know. It was weird times. But
Okay.
I definitely want to go back for sure. Like, that's my goal.
Wow. Interesting. And uh, what um, I've read a lot about your upbringing, your journey, and about the difficulties you faced. And it was a beautiful article about how you've reached where you are. What's your biggest motivation being a musician in your life? What are you looking forward to as an inspiration being a musician?
How can you like? What do you mean with that question? Like how?
What is your biggest motivation as a musician? Is it to like play gigs? Is it to be collaborating with different artists, or what is your source of happiness being a musician?
Actually, I just wanna enjoy my own playing. I wanna play live and feel that my playing that I like it. That's my only goal. Like, of course, I want to play arenas. I want to tour the whole world, but I just want to do a show and feel like I did a good job and feel good about myself. That's basically my goal. Like, it
Okay.
doesn't matter really if it's 80,000 people or 8,000. I just want to at some point be proud of what I'm doing and just have a good time. So
Wow.
that's what I'm working towards, like practicing and, keep pushing myself to get better and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah. And is that like the biggest focus of yours now, right? Is drumming alone. And that's also something I read is like you've given up a lot just to focus on drumming and to perfect your skills and to be working on your practice of drumming. So that's where you stand completely, entirely dedicated to drumming currently.
Yeah. So and that was also because, as I mentioned earlier, I started playing pretty late in life. So I just had to sacrifice some more extra time. And also I'm like so determined, like I know where my goals are and I know what I have to sacrifice to get there because it's it's tough. Like not everyone would sacrifice things to just go as far as they want to go. But I'm prepared to do basically anything, work very hard and be very determined and just push myself and I feel like I barely started and I'm not about to give up or be
Wow.
satisfied. That's the thing. I never want to be satisfied. Like as I mentioned, I want to be satisfied with my playing. Like I want to enjoy my playing, but I never want to be satisfied on the level where I'm at. I always want to go to another level or, keep moving forward, like reach new goals and, you know.
Yeah. And
So.
is there anything regarding practice or a little experiences with practice or tips that you would want to share? Because if it's someone starting off late but catching up so much with practice and working on a daily basis, what is your daily schedule of practice or what inspires you to practice?
So the thing is, I think you just have to make a decision. That's the first thing. Like if you're a smoker, for example, and you be like, I'm gonna quit smoke on Monday, you're not gonna start quit. You're not gonna quit smoke on a Sunday or Monday. But then if it's a Wednesday and you be like, at this very second, this is my last cigarette. And if you made that decision, that's what's gonna happen. It's like, I'm gonna start practice on Monday, my schedule. If you're not doing that schedule and start right the moment you make a decision, you're not gonna do it on Monday. That's the first thing. I would like really see if you made the decision. If you didn't make the decision, wait either until you make it or if you don't make it. But then you will be aware of how much you want it. Because there is no shortcuts. Like, for real, there is no shortcuts. You have to do your hours and you just have to be prepared to spend a lot of time alone. And there is always another party to attend. You can say no. You don't have to go to all the parties. You don't have to hang with your friends all the time because you're still gonna have friends later on. But the practice hours you can't have them back.
Yeah.
That's my point. Like how I see it. Like I've been feeling like sometimes it's very lonely, and I've been like, is it worth it? But it's worth it. So I
Wow.
think you just make a decision and do whatever you gotta do when you make that decision, depending on what it is, basically. So.
And does this apply because you yourself suggested a question? Does this happen on the way that you had a bad gig, or we all have that? Some gigs are great and some gigs are not that good. What happens after that? How do you pick yourself up? You just bounce back to practice, or is there a moment of feeling like, oh no, you stick into that rabbit hole for a while?
I've had a lot of problems with my mental status. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to like get into deep to it, but after every gig I played, I cried. At one time, I even had a breakdown right after the gig. Like it was a disaster, and I never played with that artist again. I understand her, but I completely like gave myself shit. I was just telling myself I was so bad. I can't play. What am I doing? I'm a joke. That was all constantly, all the time. And I was just ashamed for myself and I cried. And the thing is, I always like, okay, I gotta quit playing because I'm not good enough. So instead, what I've been working on is to not think like that. If I play a gig, first of all, I never show my negative emotions until I'm alone. Never show them to other musicians, never show them to the artist. That's the thing I improved. I did that before and it's not a good thing. You don't want to be a negative person to be around, but I couldn't keep it inside of me. That was my
Mm-hmm.
problem. I was like just a mess. I was also very depressed and whatever. But so just try to keep it inside and then take it with yourself later. And instead of being like, you suck, you can't do this, you have to quit, I try to be like, okay, what did I learn? What can I improve and how?
Yeah.
There's always gonna be like, maybe it's one song and I was like, damn, I missed that fill. It was not as I wanted it to be and I didn't land correctly on the downbeat. Okay, I know that. For the next gig, I'm gonna practice that fill, land on the downbeat, and then maybe I will play that part right, but I don't have the right feeling on another song, and then I will always find something positive. I think like this, like, okay, so I messed up this gig, this part, but I did this part good, or
Yeah.
trying to talk to my brain in a good way, because it's actually all about mindset. It's
Yeah.
all about mindset, and I've been working more on my mindset than practice some periods of time this year, actually. Like, I have to live with myself for the rest of my life, and if my mindset is just negative all the time, it's not gonna be a good time. I'm
Wow.
never gonna be happy on stage if my brain tells me I suck all the time. So
Yeah.
that's but I'm getting much better at that, and like you know, I start to accept who I am as a drummer and not comparing myself to other drummers. I did that a lot before, like just watching people. And I was like, I'm gonna quit playing. I'm never gonna be that good. They are so good, yada yada. And I was like, I don't deserve my endorsement. I don't deserve anything. I don't deserve my gigs because there's a lot of drummers that plays better than me. But instead of that, I've been trying to think like, God, we're not the same person. Like we're not the same drummer, you know. You can't compare yourself to other people because there's only one of you and one of me. Thank God it's only one of me.
Wow. Such
So
amazing things to remember. But thanks for sharing such intimate things. It's very personal. It's not easy to be speaking about these things. I didn't know
I
how
think a
much
lot of people
deep
should
the
talk
question
about this
was.
more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm starting now,
Yeah.
and then people, you have to continue speaking about these things because people are what I watch, the drummers I watch and get inspired by. I'm like, they're perfect. They never messed up. They just have such a good time playing drums, and does they ever feel bad about themselves? They never like do anything wrong. But I promise you, I think they have the exact same thoughts as everyone
Yeah.
else, but they just don't talk about that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
It's
spilling the
difficult.
tea.
It's also insecurities that's very difficult to share because of your vulnerability. You feel vulnerable to share them, but thank you so much for reflecting upon them. It's yeah, it's inspiring. It's in a way what do you say? It's like, okay, there are other people to walk along the same path and to share the same experience. It's, I think it's, thank you for doing that.
Of course.
Yeah. Just little questions because I think we are also slowly coming to the time.
Yeah.
Short questions. Your first gig.
My first gig? I think maybe we should count should I talk about the first gig as a freelance musician or the first gig ever?
As a drummer, whichever you can recollect.
Okay, it was with my old rock band. My first ever gig, my first time on a stage. It was with the rock band. We were like in some kind of competition, like music competition, like sort of battle of the bands, but super small, like local.
Okay.
And we had one song. I could only play one drum beat, the basic
Okay.
rock beat. So we had one song, and I remember I was so nervous, my leg were shaking out of control, like my left leg. I couldn't keep it on the hi-hat because it was like this. And I remember I'm like, I can't play. I don't know, like something I was so nervous. And then we played the song, and then, the world was still alive when I went off the stage. So dramatic thing. It was just, I was very, very nervous. But yeah.
Yeah. And your favorite gig that you've ever played? Any one just that comes to your memory?
My favorite. Actually, I think I don't. It's one of the gigs I'm proud of. We did earlier this year. It was a live stream from Skansen. Do you know Skansen?
Yeah.
It was with Liliana.
Oh,
Did like
wow.
this for Riksteatern.
Uh-huh.
So it was like a huge live stream. We played with different artists from different places in the world, like Persian music and genres that I was not familiar with at all. And I
Wow.
remember I was freaked out about that gig because I doubted myself and stuff. But that's one of my favorite gigs because I went through with it, and I think I leveled up somehow. I leveled up. So I learned a lot from that gig. That's why it's one of my
Wow.
favorites.
By the way, because you said Persian, was it anything to do with Rostam Mirlashari? No.
Yeah, is that the name for?
The Iranian singer?
No, wait. Yeah, he was there, but I didn't play with him. I think he was
Okay.
there. I don't want to say wrong, but it was the I'm so off. I don't know the name, but it was like the Persian new.
New Year. Yeah. Navruz. Navruz.
I don't know the. Yes, yes, yes. Sorry, I should know that name, like for real. I'm ashamed, but it
Because
was.
Lillian used to play with Rostam, and I stayed at Rostam's for almost a year. I went to Folkhögskolan in, oh God, Stensund, Trusa, which is a
Oh
little
yeah.
far from Stockholm. So I was a part of, a course led by Ole Muller.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so I was in the Folkhögskolan for like 6 months, learning
Oh
under him
cool.
arrangements and yeah, not percussion, basically world music and arrangements.
Hmm?
So yeah,
Yeah, this was
great.
a lot of like world music, and I was not familiar with that at all. But it
Uh,
was great experience, and I never felt like I my mental status those weeks were very bad, but I pulled it off and I did the best I could, and I think it turned out good.
well,
So,
and yeah, any artists that you're looking forward to playing with? I mean,
yeah,
can be drummers or musicians, just random names that you can think of.
yeah, actually, like, I have a lot of artists I would like to work with in the future. Like, for example, Miley Cyrus is one
Wow.
person I would love to play drums for, or Dua Lipa, or but actually it's one Swedish artist I'm gonna play with actually next week. Her name is Molly Hammar. And I've
Uh-huh.
been looking forward to that. I have a standing gig for another drummer, Sebastian Ågren. He's super dope, by the way. And
Wow.
I'm very excited because this girl is super, super amazing. And it's like
Nice.
challenging in a new way, and there's new people, and it's gonna be very fun and a bit
Wow.
stressful. But actually, I have to like learn those songs today, so
Okay. That's the next job after the Insta Live probably for you then.
yes, for the rest of the evening. Sorry, I don't have any
Great.
friends left. I mean, I'm just honest. I'm the worst
Yeah.
friend right now.
For yourself, you meant.
No, no, for my friends.
Oh, for your friends.
I'm just
Okay.
in my studio or working all the time and like, you know, but I hope they
Yeah.
still love me.
Well, for what you've been doing, probably sure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. So, yeah, I think it slowly brings us to the end of today.
Yeah.
Yeah, is there anything else? Have you listened to Indian music? Have you listened to any recordings with this percussion company? Have you known about them? How did they get to you, contact you? It was such a pleasure that they invited you for this.
Yeah, they contact I haven't never heard about it before. But then I looked it up, but the Indian music, it's tough. It's like it's not like Scandinavian music in like 4/4. It's very child like it's other rhythms, it's super cool, but I have no experience in that at all. Um,
Okay.
but it's very interesting, and the mind, like you have to think in another way when you play. I don't know how you think, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out more.
Please do, please do. And please do check Gappu as well. Maybe,
Yeah,
we can share a couple of recordings over Instagram so that you can just have a look at it. And yeah, if ever you come to perform in India, you're most welcome. And
India
I
is
can
a
share my,
big country.
I stay in the south of India and I stay in a place called Chennai. So yeah, if ever you come to Chennai or to India anywhere,
How many
please.
languages do you speak?
I speak Tamil, which is the South Indian language, another language called Malayalam. I speak Hindi, English. Yeah, four, maybe.
And a bit Swedish.
A little, yet a little.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely. I hate you. If I come to India, I will definitely let you know.
yeah. I do the same if that's okay with you.
For
I hope to
sure.
visit. Yeah, I hope to visit Sweden very soon. I don't know if you know of this band called Vadens Band. I've been working with Vadens Band. It's like a folk world music. It's very
No,
different
I don't
from
know.
what you do, and yeah, we are in two different, completely different worlds. So maybe it's hard to know each other on that note. But I've been
Yeah.
staying in Jana a lot in Stockholm, in Göteborg, and places like that. So your name should be Lina Anderberg. Is that how you spell?
Lina Anderberg. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really good. Really good. Scary
Nice,
good.
nice. Great, Lina. So happy to be speaking with you, and yeah, welcome to India whenever you are able to visit us.
Thank
And
you,
I
and thank
hope,
you for having
yeah,
me on
and
this
I
live.
yeah, and hope this COVID situation resolves and you can chase your dream in the US very soon. Really
Thank
looking
you
forward
so
to your career
much.
and your amazing projects in the future.
Thank you so much. It means a lot.
Okay then. Thank you. Take
Thank
care.
you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.